Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is P. Sobure, and thanks for your subscriptions. Thanks for going through my recent videos and all that. So, as we had always talked of, this channel is meant to educate ourselves on different things. Last time we have been knowing about different computer skills and all that, but then for today we are going to talk about information literacy. Of course, we know it's equivalent to finding and accessing relevant information. It's not a must that it's some particular type of information, but anything, just any information, but should be relevant, that is accessible, and to evaluate the credibility and reliability of resources. It may be something ongoing. Let's say, for example, we may have articles of a particular thing ongoing in the country, in the world, and all that, but then the information we have about it is what makes it to be information literacy. So I have a bit of my notes here which I would want us to slide through as we get at least some simple introduction on what information literacy is all about, so that by the time we go deep into different other things, at least we shall be knowing the core of what it talks of. So my first slide here, as you can see, it's information literacy introduction, but then we see, okay, I've used the globe, the earth, the maps of different continents and all that, meaning it's not a must that we are supposed to know information of one particular place. We are supposed to have information of different places: Africa, Asia, where Antarctica, all places, which makes it information literacy. So I come to this second slide of mine, which says, what is information literacy? And information literacy should be able to determine the extent of information needed. Of course, extent of information needed, you're supposed to have enough information of what you're talking about, and should be reliable. It should be a reliable source where you get from your information. Then an information literate should access the needed information effectively and efficiently. You should access all information you're speaking about it should be effective and efficient. It's supposed to be truth and all that. Then we see where it tells us should evaluate information and its source critically. That's why I say you should have a reliable source of your information. By the time you're becoming an information literate, you have let's say, for example, you're telling us about the politics in, for example, let's say Uganda, but then your politics, what you're telling us, should be truth and nothing but the truth, and your source of information should be reliable, that when we also go into that place, we are going to get the exact thing that you're telling us. Then you should use information effectively to accomplish specific purpose. Your information, let's say, for example, what is the main target for information? Is it the youth? Is it the children and all that? And also it should be your information, when I talk of accomplish a specific purpose, let's say, for example, how your information, you're talking about advocacy of something, but then has it accomplished your target? You can't start advocating, maybe let's say advocating for the rights of the youth, but then you're telling it to children, and then you don't have basic information of what the youths are going through before you start advocating for their rights. So you have to advocate when you know the challenges they're facing and all that before you start your advocacy and all that. Of course, in today's digital age, information literacy is crucial for academic success, professional development. We see informed decision making, critical thinking, and problem solving. Those are all stages in which those are the points at which we need communication, in which we need information literacy so much. So here we see how we learners use information literacy skills. Number one, it's how us, the students and all that, how we use information literacy skills. Number one, to identify information needs and determine the extent of information needed. That's one is, of course, the information we need. Okay, it's information literacy, but then we need to know more of what is happening, again. So you need to identify information earlier of what's happening and all that. Then to locate and retrieve appropriate sources of information. That's also something. So we have to locate and retrieve appropriate sources of information. We should know the main sources of where we're getting from our information and all that. Then we see it tells us evaluate information and its sources critical. You're supposed to evaluate what you're talking about, like what the information is supposed to like give it into your audience and all that, and where you're getting from your information. Then it tells us synthesize the information retrieved and then present this newly acquired knowledge. You're supposed to present like, okay, information literacy helps us to present the newly acquired knowledge, such things. Then we see translate these abilities and concepts into new projects. Like now, let's say for example I have information literacy, like I've been informed about, let's say, a business, and okay, I've been informed about some business, but then I have gotten an idea, so I should translate this information I've gotten into a good project, into a new business as I've planned for. Then we know as well that information literacy involves searching and filtering information. You're supposed to do research, but then you're supposed to filter before you take your information to the next person. You should filter, know which one is the right target. Let's say for example you're writing articles and all that, but by the time you get you've gotten some information, before you come up with your own article, you should make sure that you've searched about it and then you've filtered which one is the most, what's most important. Then identifying biases and misinformation. By the time you get your information, you're studying on something, because it's main about studying on different information, what's going on and all that. So you should identify which one is biased, which one is a lie and all that. Analyze sources and credibility, organizing and synthesizing information. All those are things that we should not list once we come into information, use of information literacy and all that. And that's all. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Peace Obure. Make sure we meet in our next videos. Thank you so much. Have a great day.